Hello YouTube. Figured I should make a video of my most recent acquisition. This is a 1974 Cub Cadet 129. It's a hydrostatic, as it says right there, which means instead of having a shifter through the center there, like the 128, you have a little control on the dash for the hydrostatic. Anyways, my dad paid $200 for it, and I took the fuel tank out of that Cub Cadet too, and it had at some point in time, someone replaced its engine with a 12-horse replacement engine because it was painted black, and it has a newer style carburetor on it, newer style linkage and everything, and also has this tag, but I can't really read it anymore. And well, my dad bought this with a Cub Cadet 127 and a 169. The 127 is kind of rough and it's smoked, and the 169 is in really rough shape. It was the worst out of all of them. So far the work I've done to it is a tiny bit of painting, like this tin was missing and it was painted yellow, so I painted that black. This piece was missing, I put some paint on the muffler because someone relocated it to run down there, which looked like crap. I put new front tires on here and changed the rim because this side had a trailer tire on it that was way too large, and this side had a narrow frame rim which faced the wrong way. So I went ahead and swapped those out. It still has what are probably the original rear tires, which are just regular old Firestone, just turf tires. And this is also the mower deck that came off the 127, because this was the one tractor that actually didn't have a deck on it. But I put this deck on here because it's in pretty good shape because its baffles are still in there, which is pretty uncommon with these. And someone has repainted it sometimes, so its paint still looks pretty decent. And this thing probably could use a new paint job, but I'm not worried about it. And like the 128, it's also missing the hood cross brace, and I'm not sure why. Also doesn't have headlights or anything. It's a pretty no-frills model. There's no real fancy features to this one because it's a hydro. There's no creeper gear or anything. Nothing special. There's also like some crap that was originally hanging off the back, but I removed it and cleaned it up a bit. You can see there's some fairly nice paint on the transmission. It also still has the original rear reflectors that are not cracked, and its dealer sticker, which I tried to look them up and I can't find anything out about them. Now the dash, it's pretty bad shape there. It's that side. All the paint's pretty much faded off of it. And, well, yeah, that's that. I guess we'll go ahead and start up and maybe drive it around a bit. And, oh, here's the seat that came with it. I took it off because it's kind of cracked and it's in pretty bad shape, so I went ahead and changed it. I also just threw this battery in the back of it too. It's now 3 years old, but it still works nice, and its wiring is pretty bad, but it still works, so I'll leave it in there until something bad happens to it. Anyways, I guess I'll start it up and take it for a spin. It's kind of a pain to start, even for it being a Kohler, which are usually pretty easy to start, but it's not too hard to get it to start. Then I take off a bit of choke and I'm not sure why it does that. I'll probably get around to figuring out what that is eventually, but yeah. Should be just about ready to start now. More throttle maybe. as you can see, it runs pretty nice, and the deck does work. This also has a later style PTO clutch with a brake on it, and the deck does work. It's a nice running engine. It's a nice riding machine. So far, I've also had to replace its cooling fan for the hydro, and I also rebuilt its relief valves and added some fluid to it. And that's real nice. And this seat, I was using some old quiet line engine mounts, but one of them fell off. And I did that before because I had another one of these where the little rubber isolators fell off and it hit the battery pole and shorted it out, so that's why it's set up like that. Also, anyone of you who's subscribed to the YouTube channel Surfox has seen his Toro racing mower. Here's what it looks like in its current state. It does not have that Peerless transmission anymore, but it still has that Kohler Magnum 18 in it. The fender fell off. I put that back on there. As you can see, it's yeah, it's in rough shape. Let's just leave it at that. You also see a crap old push mower that's just been sitting there. Its engine is shot. These old Kohlers are awesome. Yeah. This one kind of dies off when you give it, when you try to give it full idle. I need to fix that, but it's a pretty nice machine.